Dear friends, we are very lucky that today we have a very great opportunity to learn something new. You know, in this COVID pandemic time, our school is not open, our school is stopped or closed, but still we are learning something. And here there are so many divine souls like our Paulina ma'am, who has been trying to spread knowledge, good values to the students, to not only her students but also all over the world. So welcome to all, and especially Mr. Our principal Pardeshi sir, and all my staff, all my dear students and Honorable Paulina ma'am. So it is a great opportunity, and today Honorable Speaker Mrs. Paulina ma'am is going to guide us about English improvement or how to be a good speaker. So before that, let me introduce our guest. Honorable Paulina ma'am is English teacher. She has 25 years of experience. She has a great experience, and you know, she is the supervisor of the Students' Council in the school. She is also member of English Speaking Union of Poland. In the same way, a consultant for Oxford University Press Publishing, and an honorary international member of Positive Thoughts Consulting and Training Solutions. And beyond that, she is a very motivated teacher. So we are very lucky that ma'am has given us a great chance to learn something from her. And for our students, ma'am, I request you to guide our students and us.
First of all, I must say that I'm really happy to be among you, the teachers, the students. Let me outstretch the warm welcome from Poland, from Bydgoszcz. The
Recording in
introduction
progress.
was far too kind. I believe I'm just a regular teacher. I've been trying to reach beyond my school, but was given a chance to become maybe more international teacher. Thanks to the brilliant people I met along the way in the COVID situation. So once again, thank you for your warm welcome. I will share the screen with you so that we can proceed as planned. I know that you now can see my screen. So today we are talking about boosting our speaking skills, how to do that. We teachers and students every day are challenged to talk to parents, to local authorities, to students and our colleagues. And we must say from our experience that this is not an easy thing to do. I'm coming with my Bydgoszcz from Poland, and there are miles between our countries, but you must know that once I have visited your country, Agra, Delhi, and many others on my beautiful journey around your rich and diverse country, and I must humbly say that I was really impressed with the hospitality of people and open minds I met along my way. And as it was mentioned, I have been teaching in the 3rd high school in Bydgoszcz. This is the logo of my school. Also, I've been cooperating with the International Association for International Teachers, IELTA, and I was appointed the ambassador for Poland, which I'm most grateful for. Today, we meet to talk about speaking, boosting our speaking. So maybe let's start with a definition of a speaker, because I believe each time you approach a problem, you need to name your enemy or your full noun. This is someone who gives a speech or talks about a subject to a group. Well, this is the most basic definition that Macmillan Dictionary provides us with. But also we must take in consideration the reaction that the speaker is going to meet along the way, the audience and the emotions demonstrated by the audience, and the response he is going to get after his oral production. So, taking that into consideration, we may step further and we may try to analyze what public speaking is. And that, my dear friends, is something far or way more difficult than just speaking, because you present your view in front of the audience. You give your public speech on a given topic chosen from a variety of different topics, which means that you should apply varied, diverse, but most importantly, topic-related vocabulary. And you must achieve your goal. You must either educate or entertain, or you want to influence your audience. Well, to achieve success, you do need to grab your audience attention within 30 seconds after starting the conduct of your speech. And you must close it with a dynamic end. But to make those two ends meet, you need much more inside of your speech. You must structure your speech well. You must develop the main vital points you aspire to get across, using this beautiful vocabulary and linking words so that you direct your audience from point A to B to C and then to final conclusion. The linking words, apart from your topic-related vocabulary, are some anchors that are going to help your audience understand the structure of your speech. Here, we see the example of linking words or discourse makers or markers, either sequencing or emphasizing some of your arguments. Each speaker does need to take into consideration some special factors if he does not intend to fail entering the stage. So, if you do not want to fail as an orator, after structuring your speech, you must rehearse it. You must practice either in front of a mirror or in front of a family member. Your speech must never get chaotic, so you must stay focused on the purpose and not let your audience lose interest and lose attention. Then, well, maintain eye contact, so watch for feedback. if you do not, especially if you are giving a speech in person, you must at least see hard at the audience. Then some elements of humor, introduce stories into your speaking so that the audience does not drift away if your speech is long. And never read a story, never read a presentation, because I think you are going to sound extremely artificial and no one is going to be really into what you are talking about. Well, you might, and I repeat, you might use an outline, but on no condition should you read the whole presentation or your speech. It's going to sound unnatural. And when the big day comes and there is this day of your oral exam or your big presentation or your TV appearance or your dress rehearsal in the school theater, remember, to be nervous is just a human thing. But in order not to seem weird, try to control your body language. Do not fidget too much. Do not play with your hair or with your ears. You might control the negative, different techniques of breathing in and out. Using your diaphragm will help you relax and also will help your speech sound more natural and pleasing to the audience ear. The tone of your presentation does matter. Look ahead, maintain the eye contact, try to smile, because whenever you smile, the world smiles back at you, and the impression you are going to make on your audience is going to be far more favorable than if you were a sad speaker. And remember, till the very sentence of your presentation, keep your mind on the purpose of your speech, what you are talking about, what you are educating about. You are going to get there if you are concentrated hard enough. That was sharp and that was quite quick. Thank you so much for your listening. And I think I still have about 10 minutes, and if you feel like, I'm ready to answer the questions.
Hello, good afternoon, ma'am. Rajan is speaking from Pune. Hello. Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Thanks a lot for your valuable guidance. Our friend Mr. Rajendra Manikya from Pune is asking something to you, ma'am.
Yes.
Hi, Mr. Rajendra, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
I'm Rajan from Pune. So, how can a student prepare to face the interviews at various places?
To introduce?
To face interviews.
I think, I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but I believe if we educators give our students a chance to put theory into practice, so if we organize conversational workshops and we give our students some scenarios to follow of different situations, different dialogues, before pre-teaching them the relevant vocabulary. In this way, I think our students are going to succeed in real life situations. And also, I'm a great advocate of international online exchanges where students can interact with one another, seeing the level of people at their age, confronting their knowledge in real life situation. Because for me as a language teacher and a linguistic lover, real context matters the most. And I believe if we give them a chance to practice, then in real life they will be ready.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Our students, few students have some questions.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Gurav?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Yes, I'm listening.
Yes, yes. Gurav?
Go ahead.
Can you listen? Can you hear?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Gaurav Patil here. Good morning.
Good morning.
My question to you is that how can be a good communicator in English?
Well, it's a difficult thing to do, but I think in order to communicate, you must understand the person you are talking to. So I do encourage students to build vocabulary. To build vocabulary, you may use vocabulary books. You may watch films in English, especially if you watch them in original version and also subtitled version in English, not in Hindi, not in any other language, but only the language you are aspiring to master, and you are taking notes. I believe the key to success, and this is what I keep repeating to my students, you can't be a lazy listener. Whenever there is a listening task, whenever you are listening to the BBC radio, and you should do that regularly, you should make a habit of it. If you want to learn a language, you must make learning your everyday habit. So if you do listen to the radio, watch television in English, you should take notes. And when you take notes, then your vocabulary expands. And when your vocabulary expands, you should try to challenge yourself, to find yourself a friend and to talk. Use the language and challenging one another using more ambitious vocabulary. So even at home, even when we are locked down, my students do that. We practice. We try to enlarge our vocabulary. I hope it's answering your question. Yes. Hello.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks. Okay, ma'am.
My pleasure. Welcome.
Okay, Gurav, are you there? Thank you, ma'am. Is Gurav there?
Hello. Yes, I'm listening.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. I'm Puranik here. How to identify the good speaker?
It's difficult, I think, to identify a good speaker. I think a good speaker is the person who is also a good listener, because, you know, there are chatterboxes who occupy the floor and they don't let you talk. I think a good speaker is a good mixer. He listens, he responds, but he takes you into consideration. He gives you the floor. He shares the floor with you. And as a good speaker, maybe you mean the role model. For me, role models are people who use really sophisticated vocabulary. I do love watching the TED's talks. I will write it in the chat box. There is this platform, I'm sure you are familiar with that, TED Talks, ideas worth sharing or ideas worth spreading. And here you are going to find hundreds brilliant speakers. You are going to hear various kinds of Englishes. Australian, British, American, Japanese, French, whatever color you want. They are all brilliant speakers because they are well prepared, they are using topic-related vocabulary, and they are concentrated on what they want to get across. And to me, there in this platform is just an example, but there you are going to find hundreds of brilliant model speakers. If you are looking for some, I'm sure they are waiting for you there.
Thank you, ma'am.
My pleasure.
Thanks. Anybody wants to ask a question? Is there Chandrasekhar?
Hello, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Chandrasekhar, are you there?
Hello, ma'am. I'm Chandrasekhar here.
Mm-hmm.
In our India, most of the students are unable to speak English fluently. Do the students of the Poland also find difficulties to speak fluently English?
Mm-hmm. Of course. All students have difficulties. Yesterday, I took part in linguistic conference with Noam Chomsky, who is the father of modern linguistics. And they were talking about the difficulties, about making mistakes. You know, making mistakes, having difficulties is just a human thing. But I think the value of a hard worker is demonstrated in the attempts, not in the number of failures. So I think first, we all make mistakes. No one is perfect. But if you give up, bad for you. If you are a hard worker, you are going to fail 100 times. And 101, this is your biggest victory because you haven't given up. My students fail every day. And I really encourage them just to get a grip, to learn from their mistakes. When they do pair work, I ask them to be critical. Don't pat their friend on the shoulder. I tell them, criticize your friend in a constructive way. So they are taking notes and they are criticizing one another, not in order to make them feel terrible and miserable, but in order to help them grow. If you see your mistakes and you are strong enough not to turn your back to life, you are going to win losing, because when you lose, you learn, as a matter of factly. So nobody's perfect. Failures and mistakes are your milestones to your perfection. Use them.
Thank you, ma'am. One more question.
Yes.
What are your students' goals and how you can help them reach these goals?
Well, all students want to... They want like to get straight A's, pass exams with flying colors. I try to be demanding and I try to constantly raise the bar, because I believe if you don't challenge your students, you shouldn't do the job of a teacher. So I think keeping them challenged every day probably is my biggest help I can offer. And I'm afraid there was the bell just calling me to start my lesson. I'm terribly sorry, but I really must go. It was my pleasure to be here and to be part of this meeting. Thank you for the invitation. I hope to stay in touch. All the best to everyone here, to the staff, principal, and brilliant students. All the best to everyone.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Madam, would you like to ask some questions to our students, or would you like to communicate with them?
I really must go because there was this bell and I need to start the meeting right now.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
We can meet again. If there is need, we can meet again, no problem. And we can arrange a meeting with my students. I will gladly do that as well.
Yes. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot from the bottom of my heart. You have given a valuable time and guide our students. It is very motivational webinar. So thanks a lot on behalf of my school and my all their friends, students. I hope we will meet once again and you will guide us again. So thanks a lot, ma'am, for your valuable time.
That was my pleasure. Stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.